The global population continues to face many challenging situations daily. Climate change, financial losses, fear, anxiety, sickness, death. It may sometimes seem like this season of gloom will never end, and many are losing hope. The future may be daunting, but in the midst of your hopelessness, I can assure you that God, who is the creator of this world, still has the world in the palm of his hands, and for this reason, you can still have hope.
Well, we want to welcome you again to the Wednesday night Bible classes for the Stonecrest Church of Christ. This hour we call Wednesdays in the Word, where our church gathers around the Word of God. I open it up, I explain it, I apply it to all of our lives, whereby we might be able to understand more clearly what God means by what he says. And that's why my philosophy of preaching and my style of preaching is more explanatory than anything else. And that's simply called expository or expositional preaching, where we read the text and then we explain the text in terms of its historical, grammatical, literary meaning in context. And so that's what we do here on Wednesday evenings. And we are glad that you've joined our family to be able to study with us. I'd better plug it up here so that it doesn't stop on me in the middle of this presentation. Now, before we begin our message tonight, this weekend, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, this weekend, we celebrate our 8th anniversary homecoming of the founding of the Stonecrest Church of Christ. Shona Nixon and her committee have been working and planning feverishly for this weekend. It starts Friday night with just meet and greet. We get together, we play some games, we fellowship. There's certainly going to be food all 3 days. And so we would invite you, if you're here on the south side of Atlanta, please come by and see us and fellowship with us, have fun with us. They're going to be Friday night, I understand there's going to be some comedians that's going to make us laugh. It's going to be a fun-filled weekend. And we invite you to come and be a part of the activities and the festivities. On Saturday, that committee has planned horseback riding. They got all kinds of setup for the young kids, the bouncing houses, whatever they are called, and plenty of food, plenty of fellowship, plenty of fun. Saturday afternoon, a number of singing groups from the greater Atlanta area, as well as a couple from out of the state, are going to be in concert at the Stonecrest Church. And then, of course, on Sunday morning, we begin at 9 o'clock. This is for the church folk now, not 9:30, as is our normal time, but 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Is going to be our homecoming celebration service, where we will remember those who started out with us. The Lord has since called them from active duty, from labor to reward. We will remember those. We will celebrate our past. And then, of course, at the 10 o'clock hour, while we celebrate our past, we look forward in faith to what God chooses to do with us in the coming months and years. Evan Daniels, outstanding evangelist from the Hope Church of Christ in Hollywood, Florida, has been invited to be our special guest. And then, of course, Danny Land, outstanding song leader and songster from the Central Church in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is going to be leading our singing over the weekend. It's going to be a fabulous, fantastic weekend. So listen, please just come and join us. If you're one of our former members, we certainly invite you back with open arms, and we'll be glad to see you. So come, be a part of our 8th annual homecoming celebration weekend. Now, let's get back to what we've called plagues that preach. We've been looking at the 10 plagues that God sent on the Egyptian empire and its leader. We call our leader, who heads our government, the president in this day. They were called pharaohs. Pharaoh was not only the head of state, he was also part of the Egyptian pantheon. He was considered a god himself. People worship their president, their pharaoh, as a god. Well, this pharaoh had enslaved God's people now. He and his predecessors have enslaved God's people for more than 400 years. And then one day, God, and not just one day, God heard the cries of his people. He has dispatched a man by the name of Moses, who's been shepherding sheep on the backside of the desert, who actually grew up as a prince in Egypt. Pharaoh's daughter drew him out of the water when he was supposed to have been a part of the genocide of Jewish babies in that day. While other babies were drowning, here comes Moses floating down the river, has been captured of all of the people by Pharaoh's daughter. And so Moses grew up as a prince in Pharaoh's house. He would become the next Pharaoh in Egypt. And then, of course, the tide turns. He's accused of killing a man. And then all of a sudden, he's on the run. For 40 years now, he's a fugitive from justice. God calls him, sends him down to Pharaoh after 40 years with this message: let my people go, that they may be available to serve and to worship me. Hear me clearly again. God didn't just free them to let them go. God wanted to free them so that they might worship and serve him. Now be mindful, they've been in slavery for 400 years. They had not been serving. They had not been worshiping. And so God wanted to free them so that they could worship him. As God freed them, he would keep his promise that he made to their ancestors, and in particular Abraham, that he would give him a special land. That land is called the land of promise, but he can't take them to the land of promise as long as they will be in Egyptian captivity and Egyptian slavery. Well, this is what you have to appreciate. Here is this Pharaoh who has built his kingdom, his empire, much like America did, on the backs of slaves that were brought from Africa in order to fuel the economy of these United States. And for more than 200 years, my ancestors were treated indecently, inhumanely, with no justice, no rights for 200 years. And then God stepped into the history of the United States and freed our people to freedom, to dignity and worship, and even to justice. Now, the same thing has happened to Pharaoh. This is what you need to appreciate. People don't give up power. Let me try that again. People don't give up power. You got to take it. They're not volunteering anything. In order for slaves to be freed, there was a war called the Civil War. because people in the southern parts of the United States, where I live here in Georgia right now, said, no, 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 we're not going to give up these slaves. I mean, uh, they're hard workers, uh, and we're making millions of dollars off of this free labor because, watch this, we don't have to pay them. Now we got to feed them. We got to provide minimal health care so that they can continue to work. We don't care anything about their dignity. We don't care how many hours of the day that they work. They can work from sun up to sundown, 6, 7 days a week. That's no big issue for us. And so here in the southern part of the United States, there were men who didn't want to give up the slaves and fought a war over the ability to keep my ancestors, our ancestors, in humiliation, degradation, slavery, no dignity, no respect. And then God stepped in. It's a history. Now, the same thing is happening with this Pharaoh. His empire, his fame, his fortune, his economy is dependent upon slave labor. They built it for him. They've been there 400 years. And so God says, enough is enough. I want my people to be set free so that they can worship me, and that I would keep my word that I made to their ancestors and to their forefathers, that I would provide for them a land of promise. But before I can get them there, I need to get them out of here. And so God is going to send Moses to tell the Pharaoh, his name was Tutmos, but that's not what you need to know. He was the Pharaoh. And God says, Moses, I want you to go and tell him, let my people go. But Pharaoh did not want to give up the people without a fight. And so God now has to get his attention by sending plagues. A plague is nothing more than a judgment in order to get the attention of the Pharaoh, so he could know that God is God all by himself. And so each plague was designed to get Pharaoh, watch this, two things. Number one, to let his people go. And number two, for him to know that while he called himself God, God wanted to let him know that he's God. And he's God. You got it all by himself. And if I need to topple your government, if I need to ruin and destroy your land and your people and your economy and your military and your livestock, if that's what I need to do, God says, done. So what we've seen this far, we come tonight to plague number 6, which means 5 previous plagues God has sent to tell Pharaoh, if you don't let my people go, this is what is next. And so we looked at the first plague where God turned the Nile River into blood. I've showed you that the Nile River is 1,100 miles long. It goes through 11 or 13 countries. Uh, and so the first thing God does is turn that river, that waterway, where commerce would come in, where industry could exist, where their military could travel. In fact, the Nile River was considered a goddess herself. People worship the Nile River. And so God wanted to show them through this plague that he rules the river. Not your gods, not your goddesses. God rules the river. And when the river turns into blood, everything in it dies. And then the second plague, you remember the sermon, we call it when false gods come hopping home. All of a sudden, the turning of the Nile into blood didn't get his full attention. Because watch this. After each plague, it says the same thing. And Pharaoh hardened his heart. But I want you to watch the one tonight. All right, I want you to watch this one. And Pharaoh hardened his heart. The second plague, you got frogs everywhere, in the house, in the oven, in the bed, in the cabinets, in the chariot, out in the backyard, in the front yard, in the living room, everywhere you walked and stepped, there was a frog. Why didn't they kill the frog? Because they had a god in the form of a frog. So you couldn't kill the frog. To kill the frog is to kill your gods. But strangely, the god of the Nile, the goddess of the Nile, and the frogs, who were considered, they had gods in these images, couldn't help them. They were powerless to respond to the mighty hand of God. And then in plague number 3, Moses is instructed by God to simply wash it, to touch the dust, and all of a sudden you have lice everywhere from dust. May I remind you again, the first 2 plagues, the magicians were able to emulate it by way of their magic arts and their spells. They were able. Now, it was stupid. I mean, if you got blood everywhere, why would you want to emulate that? I mean, if you got blood in the Nile River, why would you want to turn it into more blood? If you got frogs everywhere, why would you want to reproduce more frogs? Well, it was magic. But on the third one, even the magician said to Pharaoh, hey, listen, he just touched the dust. And from the dust, you got flies everywhere. You got lice everywhere. They didn't even try to reproduce that one. And the reason why is because that's an act of creation. He takes dust. Now, the magicians couldn't create any dust. Okay. And then we went to plague number 4. And this is the first plague that did not affect the children of Israel who were living in the land of Goshen. Now, they had to put up with the frogs. They had to put up with the lice. The Nile ran right through Goshen and Egypt, and so they too were affected. But in the 4th plague, God draws the line. I showed you that he put a big old can of off in the sky and told the flies, don't you cross uh, the no-fly zone. So God separated the judgment that he sent. It only affected the Egyptians. It did not affect the Israelites living in the land of Goshen. And then last week, or the last 2 weeks, we talked about the tragedy of misplaced trust. Egypt's economy was built upon livestock and farming. And so in this plague, you remember that all of the livestock in the field died. So God is striking at the heart of their economy. Now, that's a summary of the first 5 plagues. Tonight, we look at plague number 6. Oh, follow me now. This thing's about to get good. We'll be here for 2 weeks now. I want you to watch this. I'm calling the 6th plague when sores are confronted by the Savior. Look at the graphic on the screen. Because watch this. Something is about to happen. God is about to turn up the heat. The intensity is about to increase. Now, let's just read the text. All right, beginning at Exodus 9 and verse number 8, I'm going to read the text, and then verse by verse, I'm going to come back and explain the text and then apply the text. Well, first of all, let's read the text. Exodus 9, verse number 8. And the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, take handfuls of soot from the kiln. That's all right. That's all right. I'm going to explain soot, and I'm going to explain kiln. All right. He says, take handfuls of soot from the kiln, and watch this, and let Moses throw them in the air in the sight of Pharaoh. Ooh, watch this, watch this, watch this. Moses, take handfuls of soot from the kiln and throw it up. And watch this. I want you to do it in the sight of Pharaoh. It shall become fine dust over all the land of Egypt. Follow it now. And become boils, sores, breaking out in sores on man and beast throughout all the land of Egypt. Watch this. So they took soot from the kiln and stood before Pharaoh. And Moses threw it in the air, and it became boils, breaking out in sores on man and beast. And the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils. Hint, hint. See, the magicians and the priests had to be ceremonially clean in order to lead the people in worship. But watch this. They breaking out in zones. So watch this. They are ceremonially unclean. Ooh, that's going to get good next week. And the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils. For the boils came upon the magicians and upon all the Egyptians. Watch this. For the first time, but the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh. Did you catch it? The other previous 5 plagues, when God sent the plague, when God sent the judgment, the response of Pharaoh was to harden his heart. But in this plague, God hardened the heart of Pharaoh. Ooh-wee. Watch this. And he did not listen to them. Now watch this. He saw what happened. See, on other occasions, he had his men go out and investigate what happened. On other occasions, remember, the frog came up in his house. And he did not listen to them as the Lord had spoken to Pharaoh. Ooh, oh my goodness, it's so much here. This text is so pregnant with truth that it gives birth even as I speak. I want you to watch this. When you don't listen to God, when you harden your heart, and God has spoken, there will come a time God will harden your heart. Dr. Barclay, what did you just say? I said, like Pharaoh, there comes time when God has sent you truth after truth after truth, and has given you space after space after time to repent and turn back to him, and you continue to harden your heart, you need to be careful that you don't reach the point of no return. You better be careful that you don't cross the Rubicon. You better be careful how you reject what you've heard to be the truth from the Word of God. Because if you keep on rejecting truth, you need to see the graphic on the screen. You can reject the truth for so long. Come here. God will make you believe a lie. Oh, no. Oh, please, say it ain't so. I got to take what the Bible says. You can reject the truth for so long. You can turn a deaf ear to the truth of God. You can hear the gospel Sunday after Sunday after Sunday after Wednesday after Wednesday after Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can hear it for so long and ignore it. And then God will send you what 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 11 calls. Tell you what, maybe I just better show it to you. Maybe you think I'm making this up. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11. It's on the screen. And for this cause, we got to ask the question of what cause? And for this cause, God shall send them. Watch the term. A strong delusion that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Oh, did you hear what I just read? God will send some people a strong delusion. What would you please explain strong delusion? Be glad to. The term in the Greek talks about a false, fixed belief. Oh, let me hit pause, hit rewind, and push play again. Strong delusion. A false, fixed belief. In other words, a lie. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. But the text says, God shall send them. Watch it. Not the devil. Wait a minute. Isn't God a God of love? Yes, he is. Didn't Jesus say, I am the way, the truth, and the life? Yes, he did. Well, how is God going to send something not true? And then watch this. And make people believe it. Well, you need some context and you need some background. All right. So let me give it to you. See, I started reading at 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 11. Let me back it up to verse number 7. Paul, writing to the church at Thessalonica, says, for the mystery of iniquity is already at work. Only he who now let it will let until he be taken out of the way. Watch this. And then shall that wicked one be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish. Watch this. His preaching point. Because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be said, oh my goodness, let me break this down for you. Paul says back, and Lee Dog, I'm gonna back it back up to verse number 7. I want you to watch this. He talks about the mystery of iniquity is already at work. In the Thessalonian church, there were teachings, there were beliefs, there were doctrines that the church, watch this, had already been caught up in. And watch this. And they didn't even know they were in it. Oh, okay. Let me explain. Mystery of iniquity. I don't want to get technical and get into Greek text with you. Let me just explain what these words mean as they were understood at the time they were written. The word mystery, I said I wasn't going to do that. The word mystery was a term. In fact, it was a military term that described when generals go out to war, they kept the battle plans close to the vest. They did not reveal strategy to even trusted soldiers and officers. The generals held the strategy and the battle plans to himself. Mama and them taught me a long time ago, the best way to keep a secret is to keep it. see, the moment you tell somebody else, it ain't something no more. But watch this. Watch this. It may be private, but it ain't secret. All right. Watch this. The term was used to talk about armies going into battle, and the generals never would release the strategy and the battle attack and plans until the time of the battle. Paul uses that word to say to the church at Thessalonica, you are caught up in something. And he calls it the mystery. Not mysterious, mystery. He says, but the mystery is of iniquity. Iniquity means without authority. Iniquity means without approval. Iniquity means without sanction from God. Let's put it together. You are caught up in teachings, in doctrines, in practices that do not have the authority, the sanction, and the approval of God. It may feel right. It may look right. It may sound right. But God does not sanction it. God does not authorize it. God does not approve it. Well, wait a minute. If God doesn't approve it, where did it come from? Verse 9 tells you. It's the working of Satan with power, with signs, and watch this, and lying wonders. You've been caught up in something. It does not have the approval, the authority, and the sanction of God. Watch this. Satan is behind it. And you don't know it. And watch this. You're in it. He says to them, it's already at work. What if it's already at work? That means you're involved in it. I dare say tonight, I'm talking to some people who's caught up in some teachings, some practices, some beliefs, some doctrines that look right, that sound right, that feel right, but do not have the authority and the approval and the sanction of God upon it. And he says, verse 10, you are being deceived in unrighteousness in them that perish. Why? Because they receive not the love of the truth. Get it? You've been caught up in something. It's of iniquity. It does not have the authority, approval, and the sanction of God. You are in it. You think it's right. And now Paul says, I'm trying to tell you it's not right. But because you love the lie more than you love the truth, you're rejecting the truth for the lie. You think what you believe, feel, and practice is from God. It's really from Satan, and nobody can tell you the difference. While God all along is trying to get you to embrace the truth, and people embrace the lie. And watch this. And for this cause. What cause? You embrace the lie rather than the truth. And when you hear the truth, you reject the truth. And when you keep on rejecting the truth, God says, okay, I done told you time and time and time and time again, there is one God, there is one Lord, there is one Spirit, there is one faith, there is one baptism, there is one hope, there is one church, there is one body, and you refuse to believe it. And God says, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I am going to send you a false fixed belief. I done told you living together without being married is wrong. But you've listened to the president. You've listened to the Congress. You've listened to the laws of the land. And I've told you time and time and time again that marriage is honorable in all and the bed is undefiled. Woo. I must be in the neighborhood tonight. So God says, I tell you what, since you don't believe in marriage, I'm going to send you a false fixed belief. And I'm going to make you believe in it. And then he says, and then you'll be damned for believing that false fixed belief. Why? Because you didn't believe the truth. And you had pleasure in unrighteousness. So watch this. Here's the pattern. Look at the screen. The truth is preached, and you reject it. You reject the truth, and you embrace the lie. And each time the truth is preached, you embrace the lie. And so God says, okay, since you want to embrace the lie, I'll help you. I will harden you in the lie you choose to embrace because you continue to reject the truth. And then God allows judgment to come. See, that's what has happened to Pharaoh. He has him 5 plagues. He's rejected each one of them, the evidence in front of him. And so God says, you have made a choice to harden your heart. Since you have made the choice to harden your heart, then I'm going to aid you in hardening your heart. Ooh, it's a dangerous thing to hear truth preached week in, week out, and you turn a deaf ear. We can go in history. All right. You remember the Titanic? You know what its claim was in 1912? They built this great, magnificent uh, boat, and they call it, of all things, after a god. Right. Call it the Titanic. And watch this. The engineers and the architects and the builders of this boat said, this boat is so strong, God himself can't sink it. The only thing that unsinkable boat did was sink. Passengers trusted the boast so much. Watch this. They even cut back on the lifeboat. We're not going to need lifeboats on the Titanic. Even after warnings of an iceberg was clearly known by them, they didn't turn back. They didn't turn around. And God sent them a strong delusion. You see, sometimes his judgment is to let arrogance run its course. Let me give you the point of this plague, and I'll invite you back next week for us to explain it in detail. Let me show you what happens in the sixth plague, where he's going to throw up some soot, and that soot, when it lands on people, it's going to break them out in blisters and sores. And that's why I call it when sores meet the Savior. I want you to watch this. Watch the intensity and the progression of the plagues. He started out in the Nile. Then he went back to the Nile and got some frogs. And then they came on land. And then God went to the air with the lice and the flies. See, watch this. Each plague is progressing in its intensity. God worked in the environment. God worked in creation. But in the sixth plague, God gonna make it personal. God is gonna touch their bodies, and God is gonna touch skin. Now watch this. Heretofore, he's touched livestock, touched the air, touched the land, touched the water, touched the environment. But in plague 6, God gonna get personal. I'm gonna let sores. Now, come on. You've had a blister, and there's pulse, an infection inside of that blister, and then it burst. Now. Yeah. I see your face is just like mine, and you put some medication on it, and is emitting a foul odor. In other words, the environment was stinking. Now the people are stinking. It's one thing to smell a dead cow out there, or a dead frog over there, or dead flies over there. But now folk walk around looking at, looking at one another, covered up. Look at verse 8 again. And the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, take handfuls of soot from the kiln, and let Moses throw them in the air. Let me explain 2 things, and I'll bid you good night. Watch this. What's a kiln? A kiln is a as you see on the picture, it's a high heat insulated chamber designed to bake fire inside of it, temperature in it gets real hot. The airflow and the fuel are controlled so that heat stays steady and intense. In college, hardest work ever done in my life. Between classes, down the street from the college I attended was a brickyard where they would allow the college boys to come between the classes and work an hour or two. And they had this big old furnace in the back. And they give you a pair of gloves. They didn't give them to you. You had to buy some gloves. And then when the bricks were coming out of the kiln, out of that heated chamber, they were hot. And what the job I had to do is I had to stand there on that conveyor belt and take those bricks and stack them over here. Well, long story short, I lasted about a week. In fact, I became more studious in school because I said, no, this work is too hard. In fact, they still owe me a check. After 3 or 4 days, I didn't even go for my check. I said, oh, I tell you what, I better buckle down in my study because ain't no way I'm going to do this kind of work for the rest of my life. And there were brothers there who grabbed the bricks like nothing. I mean, their hands had become almost insensitive to those bricks. That's what that was. Come here, lest you miss the point. Oh, watch this. Watch this. I can barely hold a shout. For 400 years, the Egyptians made the Israelites pick up bricks from that kiln. Oh, this thing's about to get good. For 400 years, those slaves had been taking bricks out of that heated furnace. God tells Moses, go to the kiln and get the soot. Let me explain what the soot was. You put the clay, the dirt, square it up, put it in there, and it heat. And then watch this. The ashes that were left over created soot. I'll tell you what, let me show it to you. Lead dog, I skipped 2 slides here. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. See, you've seen this on your chimneys. That black residue, that's called soot. Your tailpipe, that's fuel that didn't burn. It's called soot. In your house, with your furnaces, those grates in the ceiling, over time, you got all that black residue. That's soot. When you heat up your pot in the kitchen, that black stuff on your pot, that's called soot. Watch this. Lean in, lean in, lean in. Watch what God does. Woo! Watch what God does. God said, Moses, go over to the kiln and get the residue. Get the ashes from the bricks that they've been making for 400 years, slaving my people. Go and get the residue. And you stand before Pharaoh and watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Ooh, this thing is going to get good. He says, go to the kiln. Go to the furnace. Get the ashes. Get the soot. Get the debris. Get the leftover. Get the injustice. Get their meanness. Get their humiliation. Get their hard-heartedness. Get their insensitivity. And you take it and you stand before Pharaoh. Watch this. And throw it in the air. Watch this. Do it in front of him. Watch this. He said, throw it up. Don't throw it at it. Throw it up. Don't throw it at it. Some of us need to learn the lesson because we've been so mistreated in this country, so humiliated, so degraded, treated with such disrespect that sometimes we want to throw it in their faces. God says, don't throw it at it. Watch this. Throw it up. Watch it. Why throw it up? Let me judge it. Let me punish him. I want him to know that it's coming from me. He did it to you. He did it to my people. But I want him to know, and I want you to know, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. He said, throw it at us. Throw it up. Don't throw it at him. I want you to do it publicly, so he will know. You know what's interesting to me? And I thought about this. If you're going to throw stuff up, shouldn't it come down on you? See, watch this. Moses throws it up. It doesn't fall on Moses, and it does not fall on Aaron. But it falls on Pharaoh. Watch this. Oh, watch this. Oh, watch this. What is God saying? Oh, this is going to get good next week. Watch what the point God is trying to make. The furnace where you had my people go inside, the furnace where you had my people to burn their hands, the furnace that symbolized injustice, humiliation, degradation, insensitivity, embarrassment, less than. Watch this. Pharaoh, you left the evidence in the furnace. And I'm going to take what you left. I'm going to take the debris. I'm going to take the leftovers. I'm going to take the soot and expose you. God can turn the byproducts of injustice into instruments for justice and expose your pride. Oh my goodness. There's so much preaching and so many parallels in American life with slavery, with the Civil War, with the monuments to generals who wanted to overthrow this country, and you name military bases after them. America needs to know this. What goes around comes around. While you want to keep up the statues of men who committed treason against the United States of America, and you want to make them heroes, God says, I love America. But America to this day has not come face to face with her original sin. I got brothers and family members who went into the armed service to defend this nation. I'm not against America. And now you got textbooks where you want to cut out this ugly part of your history. And you want to pretend like it didn't even happen. I mean, it's almost like January the 6th. You want to rewrite the script and tell us that there were people who had attacked the Capitol who were just visitors. Don't believe your lying eyes. Believe what I say. You can't destroy all that footage. And God says, I'm going to take the soot. I'm going to take the debris. I'm going to take the leftovers. And I'm going to judge you. And I'm going to punish you. For Pharaoh, you were inhumanely to my people for 400 years. But you left the evidence in the furnace. And I'm going to go to the furnace and get the evidence of your cruelty and judge you for it. You don't want to miss next Wednesday night. You don't want to miss next Wednesday night. And I'm going to show you time and time and time again throughout the Bible. It's what I call poetic justice. I'm going to show you some folk who built some scaffolds. They took wood and built a scaffold and then died on the scaffolds that they built for somebody. I'm going to show it to you time and time and time again throughout. Listen, join us again next Wednesday night. But until then, may the Lord of the harvest bless you, and may he bless you real good.